Welcome in to episode 81 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. Of course, JD here with you once again. Unfortunately, Biggie's not able to come on, so it's going to throw us off, a little bit of a loop, but it'll be okay. A little bit of a Thanksgiving background. I decided to minimize myself because obviously it's Thanksgiving this week on Thursday, 2 days away. So we got a nice little background with the turkey, some fall decorations, cake, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a nice little Thanksgiving week. A show won't be as long now since I'm just doing it solo, but big episode ahead. Later in the show, I'll give my top 5 Thanksgiving foods, in my opinion. I mean, some people may not agree with me, and I'm probably in the minority with some of my answers I'm going to give. I'm sure people are going to be like, what is he talking about? But we'll get to that. And then at the end, I'll give my picks and also Biggie's picks for Thursday, the Thanksgiving games. I was going to throw in Friday, but we already know what Biggie's going to do in terms of what team he would pick, because you can never pick against your team, if you have a good team. And I was going to go the same way. But Thursday, we do have one game that's different. I wanted to do another one. I wanted to go with I don't want to spoil it, but I wanted to pick another different one. And I was like, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have enough stones in me to do it. I was like, I don't know. And it's one team that you can't go against. Doesn't matter, they struggle, stuff like that. It does not matter. But let's start with how you doing, because the Mets made a trade. I said that the Mets were going to do some things that were a little head scratching, maybe. People aren't going to be happy about a lot of different things, and they did. They traded Brandon Nimmo to the Texas Rangers Sunday for Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien, really, really good defensive second baseman. He used to be shortstop, and then he moved, of course, to second when he went to the Rangers with Corey Seager. But Semien, really good glove. He can hit a little bit. Didn't play so well last year in terms of his bat, but I think he's going to be an upgrade over, Jeff McNeil, who's probably going to be out of the door very, very soon. And I know people are going to be upset. They're like, oh, we just got rid of Brandon Nimmo. Like, that's one of our guys. Like, I feel you. I totally understand that. I'm upset that he's not here. But I think if you look at it in the sense of what has this team done since getting Brandon Nimmo? Having Brandon Nimmo on the team and this core of players, what have they done? They haven't won anything. They have not won anything. So I can understand, it's going to upset some people, but you got to change it up a little bit. You're not going to get rid of Lindor, and you're not going to get rid of Soto. Those are your two guys that you're going to go, and you want to build around those two. Lindor's here for a while, of course, and he's probably going to be the captain. I would think maybe not this year, next year, but soon. And Soto just signed that mega deal. He's going to be here for 15 years. So those two guys you're not going to get rid of. Alonso should be back. I hope he's back, because they need that. I've been thinking about this. Of course, since the season ended for them, because they didn't have a postseason this year. So the regular season, I should say, you're not going to find the production Alonso is going to give in terms of his bat, and where he's going to hit third or fourth for you, hit 35 home runs at least, 100 RBIs on a good year. The only year he didn't do that was, last year, when he was definitely feeling the pressure of trying to live up to a contract. You're not going to just find a 35 home run, 100 RBI, 95, 100 RBI hitter. You're not going to just go and find that. And even in free agency, I don't think there's anybody in terms of playing first base that can do that, and mean that much to the team, because it's not only on the field. Yeah, his defense may be this and that, and Stearns is a little worried about his defense. But listen, you just got Marcus Semien. That's a defensive first move. I'm sure they're going to go out there and get someone else that's available. That's going to be a defensive first move. You can't only worry about defense. You need some bats as well. Yeah, Lindor will hit for you. Soto will hit for you. But right now, you look at this team. No one else scares you. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't really. I know all the pieces aren't there, and that's something you got to think about. But no one on this team besides Lindor and Soto scare you right now. Simeon is a good middle of the order hitter. I think him batting fifth. Preferably, I want him to bat sixth, and that shows how good your lineup can be. If he's batting sixth, 15 home runs, 65 to 70 RBIs from a six hitter, batting 260, 270 around that mark is not bad at all. That's something I would love. But they got to go out there and they have to get two bats. And that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. So now, you get rid of Nimmo. That's a lefty bat out of the lineup. Nimmo has kind of become, I don't really think he should have ever been this, but he's become a power hitter for the most part. I don't really think he's that contact guy that he was, earlier in his career when he batted leadoff for the Mets. So, okay, now you look for a power to replace Nimmo, which I think you can do better in terms of that power department. Kyle Tucker, he's available. I don't think they're going to get him. I don't know if the Mets are going to be willing. Yeah, I know they want to spend money like Steve Cohen always loves to spend the money, but I don't know if you want to spend that much money on another outfielder. That you have Kyle Tucker, you get him, he plays left, Soto and right. I don't know if they're going to go that far in terms of spending money, but Cody Bellinger could be an option. But I would love Kyle Tucker, but either Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger, I think are going to be on this Mets team when the season starts. Either one of them will be on the team. I know people are saying bring in Tatis as a trade. Not a huge fan. I'm not saying I'm not a huge fan of his game. I just don't think his style of play. I don't know if that's going to fit. You're not looking for lazy players. You're looking for a guy to run through the fence to catch a ball. You're not gonna look for someone to go out there and be a little lazy. Which Tatis is a great talent, but I don't know if that's what the Mets need. I don't think they do need that. I think they need that lefty bat to replace Nimmo and be better than Nimmo, because I think Kyle Tucker and Bellinger, some points of his career last year he was better than Nimmo, and other years throughout his career with the Dodgers, with the Cubs for 1 year, he's had his moments. But I think that if you have Kyle Tucker or Bellinger can also give you the versatility of playing first base, but Nimmo is gone. So Kyle Tucker in left, he only plays left. He can DH a little bit too, but that's what I think they're going to be okay. I think people as Met fans need to relax. Listen, everyone knows me. I'm the first person to, start going crazy. Oh my God, what are they doing? They're making these moves. They have no plan. They have a plan here. You're not going to trade Nimmo for a second baseman. Yeah, that trade I don't think they won, but you have to look at it in the long run. In the long run is what you need to worry about. That's what I'm trying to relax a little bit. Listen, if you can get McNeil off this team, I think everybody should be happy about that. I think he's going to be gone. I don't know. Stearns was like, oh, he's going to play. He can play first base a little bit for us. You're not putting that guy at first base. McNeil is not going to be an answer for this team. He's going to be gone. That's another thing. You can replace Nimmo and McNeil with Simeon and Kyle Tucker, Simeon Bellinger. That kind of, that duo is better than what Nimmo and McNeil would bring to this team. And that's what I think we need to worry about. I think Beatty, listen, people know me. I'm not a Beatty supporter, but he proved me wrong last year. He actually played pretty well. I know he got hurt at the end, but he played pretty well. I was a big fan of Beatty. I like what he brought to the team. He's another guy. He can bring he can bring something to the squad, batting a little lower in the lineup, which I think you take the pressure off of him. So if you can go out there, you have Lindor batting at the top, you have Soto batting at the top, you bring Alonso back, you bring in that, like I said, that lefty bat for left field. Then you have a Simeon and a Beatty there. Alvarez hopefully can bounce back. He played well at the end. That's another one. You never know what they're going to do at DH as well. So this lineup is not even close to being complete. Center field's another one. Is Carson Bench going to be on the team opening day? Is it going to be Tyrone Taylor for the time being? Because they did bring him back. Is it going to be someone else in free agency? Is Bader maybe going to come back? We can see that happening. But it's how much do they believe in Carson Bench? Is he ready yet? That's what you need to look out for as well. So there's a lot of pieces that are not on this team, or some guys that are on this team that may not even be playing the position. They may be traded. A lot of different things. And a good point there by Marty with the pitching. Yeah, the Mets need pitching. That's one thing we've seen last year. They didn't have pitching. Yeah, you can have all the bats you want in the world. It's not going to win you anything when you don't have, you need horses. You need real horses to start in your rotation, and they don't have it right now. But I think that's another thing. That is where you hit the trade market to me. You go out there, you trade Senga, because Senga, yeah, he's a good player, but I think that Senga has a lot to be desired. He's left a lot to be desired these past couple of seasons in terms of injuries and stuff like that. You can't mess around with that anymore. You got to be able to have a team that's fully ready to go and win. You got McLean, but McLean should not be your number one this year. Going into this year, should not be the guy that you know what? Oh, he's the only guy we really trust. Cannot have that. Clay Holmes is another good option. He'll be a fourth guy. But if you can have McLean as your 2 or your 3, I really like that a lot. Depends what they want to do with Peterson. I think he'll be back. So there's a lot of talent here. They just need to put the pieces together, and they need to get rid of some guys that I don't think they need anymore, and they go from there. I think they'll be okay. But the trade market, that's what I would go and do to get a pitcher or 2. You definitely need an ace. But if you can go out there and get another guy to help out for at least for the beginning, when you let Jonah Tong and maybe Sproat get a little more seasoned in the minors, that's not a bad thing as well. But yeah, I think they have the pieces there. They just need to go out there and do some things. Diaz is another one. He better be back. He has to be back. I was seeing with Devin Williams being a potential guy for the Mets. You don't want to have a guy that has mini strokes pitching in terms of, because he can't take the bright lights of New York. You can't have that. You saw what he did with the Yankees, and they get more attention than the Mets do. So you can't have him as the closer. I mean, the Mets are actually, I should say, getting after getting Soto, they're kind of getting similar attention. You can always say, yeah, the Yankees used to get more, but I think now with Soto on this team, you saw it last year, they had a lot of attention on them, and a lot of people celebrated when they didn't make the playoffs, and everyone knew about it. So I think that you don't want to have a guy that has, like I said, I don't want to make a joke out of it, but mini strokes as he's pitching, to try and go out there and get you saves in a season that you have pressure on you to win. If you can bring him in as a setup man, I'm all for that. You have Williams and then Diaz, that's great. You have Minter coming off of an injury. Got to bring back Tyler Rogers too. I think the look of the submarine look is another element to this in the bullpen. If you listen, in the bullpen, you have as many different looks as possible coming at you. That's exactly what you want. If you have you have Minter, who's a hard throwing lefty, then you can bring back Raley, who's a soft thrower, but spots up really well. Like I said, Rogers. Then if you bring in a Devin Williams, maybe a Robert Suarez, and a Diaz. Diaz has to be back on this team. That's the one I'm going to. Has to be back. But I'm not going to be worried because they traded Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien. That's one move that they made that they have a lot more to get to. And listen, we have no. You think about what the Knicks did when they made the playoffs. They had a little bit of success when they had R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly on the team, Randall on the team. What did they do? They said, you know what, this isn't going to be enough for us to win a championship, and they're still building towards it. But that's the point I'm trying to make. They got rid of that core that did have chemistry, but didn't get to what they wanted to get to. And then they go out there, they bring in what they think are better players. And right now for the Knicks, it looked last year almost made 2 games from the NBA Finals, and this year they're off to a 10-6 start. Talk about the Knicks in a little bit, but that's what I'm trying to say. What the Mets are trying to do, that core didn't work, but they can go out there, keep some of the core they have, and build around it, and that's what I think they're going to do. So I know I went on for a little bit there, but I think you got to relax a little bit. There's going to be more moves, and they're going to be okay. They're going to be more than okay, and I'm not worried at all. And then let's go to the Jets, where the Jets did not play well on Sunday. Listen, it's against the Ravens. I get that, but the offense abysmal again. There's no reason to even get worried about it anymore. It is what it is. This is a team that's probably going to win 2 or 3 more games. They'll win 5, no more than 5, but they'll probably win 5, same record as they were last year. Need a quarterback, of course, but I can say this: A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie, good little savvy moves by Muji. I liked it. I like exactly what he went to there. I think that the fact that he went out there and it made this wide receiver room it was disgusting to watch. It was disgusting to watch. And they go out there, they get Mitchell, they get Mechie. They can be okay. They can be a 3rd or 4th option, maybe 4th or 5th option, depending on what they can do in the offseason. But those 2 guys look good. With Tyrod I'm not saying he's anything special, but at least he got out there and was able to throw the ball through for over 200 yards, which I think the Jets have only done 2 or 3 times this year. In this day of the NFL, that is really, really bad. That is not good. Not good at all. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Jets. But yeah, they got Sunday, they got the Falcons, and then Miami next week. 2 winnable games. I'm not worried if they win or lose now. Like to see them win more games because why not? But I'm not worried about it. But we'll see what happens. I think they could win at least one of those. But it could be 2. Could be 2. You never know. Rangers, I'm not really going to talk about them very much. They're not good right now. They're in last place or towards the bottom of the Metro. The Metro changes every day, which we'll get to in a little bit as well. A lot going on in the NHL, which we'll get to the standings, and some suspensions were handed down. And then Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's got to go out there. They got to win one more game against Stanford Saturday night. Very, very late game for the East Coast people like us. We're going to be watching that one at 10:30 kickoff, so we'll see what the Irish can do. But they win that one, they're in. And hopefully rankings are going to come out in a little bit, which I'll touch upon before the show is over. But I think that I think that the Notre Dame, you go out there, you win that game, you have a shot. You have a shot at getting a first round home game, which they got last year when they were the 7th seed. Of course, that was a 1-loss Irish team, which is a little different the circumstances. But well, listen, they were right there. They were a 9 seed this week. So if they can get, I would love for them to get to the 7th seed. I don't think it's going to happen because that can break a little different. Because listen, if you're an 8 or 9 seed, yeah, you may win that game, and then you got Ohio State the next round. That's not Ohio State team you want to play. They're better. I think they're better all around team wise. They're better than they were last year. So that's not what you want. But yeah, so the Irish go out there, get that last win, finish the year 10-2, and they'll be okay. They'll really be okay. I think that this is a team that potentially we'll see what they can do in the playoffs when they play the big boys. But I think if you took those first 2 games this year, you moved them down to the last 2 weeks of the season, I think they would win both. I really think they will. I think they have everything. The defense turned it around. Listen, when you have a new voice, I talked about this a few weeks ago. When you have a new voice on defense, that's going to take a little time, man. It's not going to just overnight look like what it did last year when you had a guy that was there for a little bit. It's not going to work. Al Golden goes to the NFL. You need a new DC. It's not going to just change. It's not going to, it's not going to just like look, it's going to change a little bit. It's not going to look exactly the same. And it took them some time. They figured it out. And I think they're playing well at the right time. CJ Carr looking more and more poised as the years went on. For a freshman, I am very, very impressed. I think by the time he's a junior, he could be a top 10 pick in the draft if he keeps up, his development, which I think he can. We got probably a top 3, top 5 player in all of college football in Jeremiah Love. So they have the ingredients to go on and go and do it. They really do. But it's just that it's all matchup based. There's some teams, you may match up. There may be a team like Oklahoma that matches up against a particular team better than Notre Dame does. It doesn't matter who's on. It's just matchup based. That's what it is. College football is big in terms of matchups. There's a team that can stop the run. Jeremiah Love might not have a great day. And if it's another team, it's different. Like those are the things you gotta see what the bracket when it comes out officially in a couple of weeks, what it's going to look like. And then I can feel more, more clarity on what exactly the Notre Dame can do. But I'm not really, if I'm Notre Dame, I'm not scared to play anybody. I'm really not. I don't think they would beat Ohio State, but anybody else, I think they can beat them. Indiana is number 2 right now, but I think Irish can beat them. There's a lot of teams that have, every team has a couple of holes. I think besides, like I said, Ohio State, I think they're really, really good. They can't be stopped on offense. They can do everything. They can run the ball. They have two NFL. I know Jeremiah Smith is still not draft eligible. He's so young, but they have him and Carnell Tate, NFL receivers, first round, top 15, top 10 picks right there. Running back room that's a little shaky. And then Biggie, surprise.
Hi, Marty. Hi, Marty.
Surprise.
How you doing? Biggie. Hey, I read your comments, buddy. Yeah. So okay. Right. All right. So let's put some fact. I'm sorry to interrupt your show, but I just had to come in. I apologize. You can get right back to it, but I have to address this stuff, okay? If you don't mind.
No, you're good.
Because I get it. All right. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm right here. I read. Don't worry. I have stuff to do, unlike you, but that's besides the point. So yeah, Syracuse lost. I know. You talked about it already. I'm sure, right? 70-7. We know Notre Dame was up 21-0 before the offense even stepped on the field, but that's what happens when you start a true freshman quarterback who's a 4-star lacrosse player and a walk onto the football team. It's just, yeah, we did, absolutely. And the circumstances at hand are why. I mean, like, I knew we were going to lose that game. There was no faith in me that we were beating Notre Dame, but it's the fact of, we also were down our running back too. Notre Dame, like we've talked about on the show, was a top team in the country. We know that. Yeah, it's just all the things were, listen, I do. And I do it partially to poke fun at JD. I do. Yes. However, they're not a bad team at all. My team sucks. I'll be honest with you. Syracuse, and I even said it last week. I was calm because I knew the direction we were going. And now we're probably going to lose to Boston College just because of the fact that we're starting Joe Filardi again. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not a good time right now. Since Steve Angeli went down, we really haven't been good. Filardi threw 2 pick sixes before the Notre Dame offense even stepped on the field. Pump block. But that is just still, it is embarrassing, you know. But considering the circumstances, it just, you know, it makes sense. But still, that's just embarrassing. Just very embarrassing. But, you know, it's just the circumstances at hand. That's what you get when you have a true freshman walk-on quarterback who's a 4-star lacrosse player go in against a top. I'd even argue by the time they beat Stanford, they're going to be a top 8 team. Because what are they in the rankings right now, JD? I'm really sorry for interrupting your show.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Now the rankings, they're going to come out in a few minutes.
Okay, yeah, so either way, Notre Dame is going to be a top 8 team. They might even be in the top 6 after that. Fire the coach. Okay, so what's the... Yeah, well, here's the problem. You got to understand, Fran Brown's only been a head coach for not even 2 full seasons yet. And obviously, it showed that he was able to bring in that replacement with Steve Angeli. But yes, there should be way better quarterback development. But if you really look at the nitty-gritty, there's a reason we brought in Steve Angeli in that spring transfer portal, right? Ricky Collins obviously wasn't it. He didn't play in the spring game either. So yeah, that is a problem there. There needs to be better quarterback development. And Fran made some changes. He did fire the quarterbacks coach, or he changed around the quarterback coach. Nunzio Campanelli, I think he moved them somewhere else. Jersey guy, actually, JD. He coached at his son is the quarterback for Bergen. Yeah, I think Bergen. I think he coached at Bergen.
Okay, yeah, they're good.
So yeah, and he was at Rutgers and stuff. So who do I think that lands on? I think it lands on the staff more than Fran Brown. Fran Brown takes accountability. Again, he has a top 25 class coming in next year still. I think only 2 kids decommitted, and they weren't even our top guys. We still have that 5-star Calvin Russell coming in. I just think right now it's a rough time because, you know, you obviously have to prepare better for, you know, your quarterback going down. Who did the recruiting? Yeah, Fran Brown. I agree. However, I just think you can't fire Fran Brown after a year and a half. You can't after 2 seasons and you have your starting quarterback go down, all the circumstances pushed against you. I just think you can't do that. You have to see that this third year is going to be really telling because he's bringing in a top 25 class, so it's going to be really telling. You definitely don't fire the coach. That's not just this is ridiculous. That's a blasphemy. That's blasphemy. You don't fire Fran Brown after that. You don't. It happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that had to happen. Maybe it did. But it just overall was embarrassing. And yeah, I think they need Donovan back. No, that'd be great. But yeah. So I just had to come on and address it because you guys kept calling me out. And as Gildy said up here, fired me up. Yeah, you did. Good job, Marty. And I gave JD some more time.
All right. You good?
Also, fire Kevin Patullo. JD, I'll let you get back.
All right. Thanks for popping on.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Bye, guys. Yeah. All right, let's get back to it. So the next team we get to here is the Knicks. The Knicks, listen, I was at the game last night. They're a little banged up right now in terms of injuries. I know Mitchell Robinson hasn't been playing anyway that much, but he was sick as well, so that's another thing. It's hard for, get them into a rhythm when you're in and out of the lineup, which I think that they need to really let him loose a little bit soon, but I think they're worried about him getting hurt again, which is the thing with Mitchell Robinson. He's so impactful when he plays, but it just over and over, things change with him. But Landry Shamet, who, listen, I'm not a huge fan of him, but he was the last guy signed on this team. And I'm all for an underdog story. He was the last guy on the roster. They didn't really want him, to be honest with you. If Malcolm Brogdon didn't retire, he would be on the team, and Shamet probably wouldn't be on the team right now. But he stepped in. OG Anunoby gets hurt. He takes over to start for him. He would also start when Mitchell Robinson was out, and Shamet got hurt the other night. This was before the Nets game. This was in Orlando. And then, they're really testing the depth, but they actually have it now. That's the thing I've been trying to stress. Yeah, this team's 10-6 right now. They haven't really looked the greatest, but I think they have plenty of time to grow. And 10-6 is not bad. We can't complain about that. I mean, right now they're 4th or 5th in the East, around in that range. And I think they're going to continue to win games. And once they get even more healthy, you have to deal with the OG Anunoby experience. He's going to play great. He's going to shoot well for about 4 games, and then he's going to get hurt for a little bit, and then he's going to come back. He may get hurt again, and then for playoff time, he'll be locked in and ready to go. So you got to live with that. That's just the way he is. He's just that type of, that type of player. But you got to live with it. You got to live with that. And but this is a good team. They're going to be fine. I'm actually, they're the 5th seed. I'm looking at it now. 8-1 at home, 2-5 on the road. But I think we can put that as 9-1 at home, just because Brooklyn is the second home for the Knicks. I mean, I was there last night, and there was not many Nets fans there. I'm going to be honest with you. When Deuce McBride is shooting his threes, we're all screaming Deuce. It sounded like the Garden. Brunson getting MVP chance. We got defense chance going. We were having a really good time. And any of the Nets fans that were there, they were staying a little quiet because they know their team is not too good. Now they're 3-14, so they are not a great team. They were in it for the first half. The Knicks let them hang around for a little bit, and then the big boys took over and took the win for. And they haven't lost to the Nets, I think, in 2 years. Taking care of business. That's what they have to do. Beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And then when you play the better, you are better than basically everyone in the league. I would say probably, the Thunder definitely better. I think the Nuggets right now are better. I think if they played the Pistons, they would be able to beat them. So I think, the West is definitely really good. But other teams out there, I think that you have to look at that. I think the Knicks can beat. I really do. I know right now they may not look their best, but they can beat them. But yeah, the comment from Pat's fan right now, a lot of teams do not look good in the NBA this year. I mean, the Pacers, look, we can go through it. Hornets 4-13. The Knicks play tomorrow. Nets 3-14. Pacers 2-15. Wizards 1-15. I mean, that's 4 teams in the East that are not even competitive. Then in the West, we got the Grizzlies, who are 6-12 in the play-in right now. They're the 10 seed in the play-in, and they're 6 games under 500. Utah Jazz 5-12, Clippers 5-12, Kings 5-13. I mean, Mavs 5-14, the Pelicans 3-15. That's how many teams right there? That's another 6 teams. That's like 10 teams in the league that are not good. They're really bad. When they play, they're most likely not winning. The Nets did beat the Celtics somehow the other night, but I mean, they beat the Wizards and Pacers for their other wins. They're all the bad teams are beating each other, and it's just unfortunate that the league is not great. But then again, you look at, you got teams like the Thunder and the Pistons playing so well right now. I think the playoffs are going to be really, really fun. I know this is so early in the year right now. Standings are going to change, but I think especially in the West, the Thunder are going to go all the way. They're just that good. But I can see a team, whoever the 2 seed winds up being, that team can lose to whoever they play in the first round of the playoffs. We've seen it last year. Warriors, I forget who the Warriors beat in the playoffs. It might have been the Lakers. Where they beat a higher seed in the playoffs. There's a lot of different things. I think it's going to happen again. And the East is actually not as bad as people think. I know they're saying it's wide open, but Toronto, I've always felt good about Toronto. I'm not saying they're a championship team, but I love how this brings us perfectly right into the NBA talk. We can do it now. But Toronto, they have a lot of really, young players that are on their second or third team. Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. There's a lot of guys they have there that are good players, and they're finally, gelling together. I like that for Toronto. I know that's a team the Knicks play a frequent amount, but good for them. Miami's always there. The Heat are always a pesty bunch. It doesn't matter who's on their team. They're always finding a way. And even if they don't beat the good teams, they make sure that team knew they played them that night. They'll hit them hard, especially on defense. They can stop a lot of teams. Cavs and Knicks, like I said, they're going to be, I think by the end, they'll be the top 2 teams. And maybe Detroit's great right now, but I don't know how far and how long into the season they can last to that point. If they are at the top seed, I think the Knicks or Cavs can beat them. I'm not worried about them at all. 76ers, they're still battling the injury bug, but they're all right. The Magic, I think right now they are 10-8. They beat the Knicks twice, and those are 2 frustrating games to watch. I'll tell you that. I felt like throwing the remote at the TV. The way the Pistons, the Magic were just getting underneath the Knicks' skin. That's the thing with the Knicks. I think they're not really a tough team. I just think they have. You look at it, you got Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and OG Anunoby's in there. Jordan Clarkson, those are scorers. Those are guys that are not known. You got Josh Hart on your team. Bridges is known for his defense, but not defense first. Josh Hart is, Deuce McBride is. But you don't have enough toughness on the team. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Knicks are on the softer side in terms of a team. I think that may not hurt them in the postseason, but overtime, if they're playing a team, they let a tough team stay around, they could lose that. They really could. And comment there with the Sixers. They're just a weird team because they have talent, but they can't stay healthy. I don't know what they're going to be, honest. I'm going to be honest with you. They're at 9-7 right now. Probably a play-in team. I think that's what they'll be at, regardless if they keep the roster the same or not. Because Tyrese Maxey, he has been unbelievable this year. Like I said, Embiid in and out. Paul George is playing a little bit, but he's washed up. They got a few pieces there. VJ Edgecombe looked pretty good for them. But yeah, you got a few pieces there, but I don't think they're not going to be a threatening team in the playoffs. I'll tell you that if they make it. But I think they'll be a play-in team. Another one. I agree. They're getting Embiid off the team. I know Embiid is injured a lot, but I think part of it is he may not want to be in Philly anymore. That's kind of me trying to hope he gets to a better situation. But yeah, he is not. He is not. They're not going to be a team that wins in the end with him. I think they just need to rely on building around Maxey just because of how dynamic he is. And if you can give Maxey an actual big man that can stay healthy, I would be scared of that. But Embiid he's great when he plays, and he doesn't play a lot. He really doesn't play a lot. With the toughness, they had the toughness a couple years ago. Yeah, I think that when DiVincenzo was on that team and stuff like that, they had the toughness there, and they lost it. But they're better than everybody else in terms of talent. But that's what I think in the NBA, talent ultimately reigns supreme over everything. That's just the way the NBA is. Football, hockey, you need the toughness to win. Be gritty and win games. But in basketball, I really don't think that matters. I think you just need talent, and the talent can ride you all the way to the championship. And then if you have both, like the Thunder do, that's when you're going to win games and you're never going to lose. They have one loss, like I said, the entire season. But yeah, then the rest of the East, the Bulls are 9-8 and the Celtics are 9-8. So I think that playing group are all on the same page right now. The Bucks are out. Giannis is hurt. The Bucks are going to become a little bit of a mess, I think, soon. I think Giannis actually can be traded at the deadline. I know we've seen some crazy deadline deals, but I think he actually can be dealt. I don't think he's going to want to be there anymore. And I think the Bucks just need an overall fresh start. They had a little bit of a good run, before COVID, after COVID. I think their time is up. I think they need to get rid of Giannis and they need to move on. I think it's just better for both parties. And you put Giannis on whatever team you want to throw out there that needs a Giannis type of player, it's going to be great. I think he may stay within the East. I don't know if the Bucks want to trade him within the East, but I think for him, the NBA, the way it goes, the player usually dictates where he wants to get traded to. I could see Giannis going to a team in the East. Miami, maybe. That could be a spot. We'll see what happens. Detroit, maybe. I don't know if they want to break up what they have there because I think they're still building. I don't know if they want to trade a lot of young guys away for Giannis. I don't think they're there just yet. But we'll see what happens. But I could definitely see him being traded by the deadline. Then some other NBA news we had was Chauncey Billups pleads not guilty in the poker case. So he's good, I guess, for now. I don't know if that means his NBA career is going to be okay, like in terms of coaching, but we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on that. Derek Lively, another guy injured for the Mavericks. That's in part of why their record is not great. They're just so banged up every day. It seems like every game they play seems like someone new hits the injury report and is out for not just a game or two, multiple weeks is the way their injuries are going right now. And it happens. There's always a team every year that's a good team that just can't get over being injured so much. And then to go back to the Pistons, they won their 13th game in a row. The last two times they did that, they were championship-winning squads, 1990 and 2004. So that's a little foreshadowing. I don't know if there's any Pistons fans watching in the stream, but that may bode well, for you guys. But let's go to the NHL. I was going to skip the standings update because I basically did it already. But let's go to the NHL where injuries across the league are hitting a little bit different now lately. But Connor Hellenbuck, probably top 3 goaltender in all of the NHL. He's going to miss 6 weeks for the Winnipeg Jets. That's a little bit of a crusher for them, who are, they're playing good hockey right now, but I think they got a little bit more to go. And now him being hurt doesn't really help their situation. And then this was last week, but it was after our show. Alexander Romanov took a nasty hit by Mikko Rantanen, where I know Islanders head coach was basically on the ice wanting to fight him. And he said, wait until March. He said, you're not going to make it through the game. So that was a feisty, altercation there. Romanov is out for 5 to 6 months, and Rantanen was suspended. So that the league, a game, whatever, but the league took some action on that. And that was a really rough injury. Anytime I'm not huge into hockey, everyone knows that. But anytime, that anytime someone's has their back towards you in hockey and on the ground, you do not. Listen, hockey's a tough sport. We all know that, but that's when you kind of lay off a little bit. Like, okay, I don't want to you can really be badly injured. Now we see he's out for 6 months. Let's do the standings update here in the NHL. Let's start with the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference, which is really extremely competitive right now. Tampa Bay Lightning 13-7-2 with 28 points. So me and Biggie talked about this. We kind of thought they were going to be a little bit on the decline, but they're not. They're first place right now, 22 games in. Red Wings at 13-9-1. So Detroit sports is doing pretty well right now. Lions are in a playoff spot or near a playoff spot. The Pistons are the number 1 seed in the NBA. Red Wings number 2 in the Atlantic Division. So Detroit looking good so far. As we hit end of November. Ottawa Senators surprised very, very much. 11-7-4 with 26 points. Boston Bruins at 13-11. They're another team I think that people thought were kind of done, but they're not. Canadians surprised. So Ottawa and the Canadians, two of the younger teams, but they're playing well. Canadians 25 points. Panthers 12-9-1. So looks like they're starting to figure it out a little bit of a championship, double championship hangover back to back. They're 12-9-1 with 25 points. And the Sabres are actually out of last place. I don't think anybody – that's actually surprising to my eyes. I'm going to be honest with you. They're 9-9-4 with 22 points. And then the Maple Leafs in last at 9-10-3. Very disappointing with 21 points. Then we got the Metro Division. We got the Hurricanes at 14-6-2 with 30 points. We got the Devils at 14-7-1 with 29 points. Devils, they lost Shaq Hughes. We were making the jokes about Frank the Tank. It's his fault and stuff like that. But they're playing all right. They're holding their own right now. They're still undefeated in regulation at home after 9 games. And I think they're going to be okay in terms of they may lose a few games, but they're going to be okay. They have a good team besides Hughes, but he's obviously the guy there. Islanders, very surprising at 13-8-2 with 28 points. Capitals, 12-9-2 with 26. So they're finding their way a little bit after a good week. And then we got the Penguins, 10-6-5 with 25 points. Flyers playing well. I know Biggie was happy about that. He was talking to me nonstop about the Flyers over text over the weekend and stuff like that. They're 11-7-3 with 25 points. Blue Jackets, 11-9-3 with 25 points. And then the Rangers, 11-11-2 with 24 points. They won last night, but they're just a mess right now. I don't know. They're another team. I know they don't have toughness. They don't have the guy. Yeah, Rempe he doesn't play all the time. That's the thing, because he's not smart enough, to hit a guy and know, okay, that I hit a guy for the time being. Let's move on. He always has to get himself into things that, suspensions and stuff like that, and it just doesn't help the situation. Whenever the situation is, it doesn't help. But yeah, they definitely lack in a little bit of toughness. Let's slide to the West, where we got the Avalanche at 16-1-5. So basically the NHL's version of the Oklahoma City Thunder right there with 37 points. Dallas Stars 13-5-4 with 30 points. They're playing good hockey for now. Minnesota Wild 12-7-4 with 28 points. We got the Utah Mammoth 12-8-3 with 27 points. Winnipeg 12-9 with 24 points. Blackhawks 10-8-4 with 24 points. The Blues 7-10-6 with 20 points. And Nashville really they're having a rough year, 6-12-4 with 16 points. Let's go to the Pacific, where we got the Anaheim Ducks. So another surprise. There's a lot of surprises so far to start the NHL season. 14-7-1. We got 29 points for them. Kraken 11-5-6 with 28 points. The Kings 11-6-6 with 28 points, saving the city at least for a little bit, because some of the Lakers are playing well, but there's other teams in California not doing too great. Golden Knights 10-5-7 with 27 points. San Jose 11-9-3 with 25 points. Edmonton 10-9-5 with 25. So it's, the teams that were in the cup final last year not doing so great right now, but I think they're going to be fine. Vancouver 9-12-2 with 20 points, and then Calgary, we got them at 8-13-3 with 19 points. So let's slide over to the MLB. That'll do it for NHL talk, where we got the news. The news that there hasn't been much going on with the MLB right now, which I said is very, very frustrating because it just takes so long. Like, we look at football, basketball, hockey, signings left and right as soon as it opens. I mean, in the NFL, we all know free agency happens before it actually happens. But in baseball, it just takes too long. Like, we're still waiting. Kyle you need Kyle Tucker to Kyle Tucker to sign, for Bellinger to sign, for this guy to sign, for this guy to sign, for this guy to sign. That's the thing with them. Like you need it to go. You need one guy to go down for everyone else to sign, which I don't really like. Yes, there we go. Pats fan. I was just about to talk about that. Big move for the Red Sox. So obviously, I can tell if you're a Patriot fan, you're most likely a Red Sox fan. You guys, I know I'm not a big Boston guy. If people know me about, I'm not a huge Boston guy, but I can say this: you guys do it right. You actually root for the teams in your city, unlike other cities. You guys get it. But yeah, the Red Sox picked up Sonny Gray, which I think is a beautiful move for them because you got Crochet, Gray now, and then you got the youngsters, filling out the rotation. I think the Red Sox are going to be really good. They were last year. They played well. I think Sonny Gray has still got it. He's going to be fine. And I can't wait to see him pitch against the Yankees because, he didn't do too great for the Yankees. Now he's going to face them, a decent amount. So that's going to be fun to watch. But Red Sox are on the up, man. They're going to be fine. Phil Maton goes to the Cubs. So there's a reliever changing teams from the Rangers to the Cubs. That's really the only news I have for you guys. Or else, Iglesias, closer from the Braves, he stays there. But nothing else going on. Ohtani is going to play for Japan and WBC. I think we all knew that. But yeah, not much going on, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to see some fireworks happen before I got on the show. But I'll say it again. Let's go and wait until next week in terms of what the hell's going to go on with these signings because it's frustrating we have to wait so long. But I'm sure I think next week will be the week that we see a lot of things happen. Let's go to the NFL where we got Travion Moehrig of the Panthers. So last night he hit Jawan Jennings in a spot. If you watched it, you saw it. Not a good look, and he's suspended a game for that. I don't really understand why you're doing that, and wasn't even involved in the play. Everything is filmed, man. You're not going to get away with anything, especially a primetime game. You're not going to get away with anything. Maybe if it's not seen in the moment, it's going to be seen after the game. And he gets suspended for that. Jawan Jennings lost his mind. That's all I know. I saw that video. I'm like, I would do the same thing. Getting hit in a spot you don't want to get hit in. Let's leave it at that. Other NFL news: we got Lamar Jackson once again on the injury report. He's been on the injury report for every week, basically, of this entire season. And since he came back from his injury, he has not looked great. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, the Ravens on a 5-game winning streak, but they haven't really played many teams. And I think the Steelers losing is helping them tremendously, of course. But man, I think that I think the Ravens are going to win that division. But Lamar, they have to get, maybe if they can get that, hopefully for them. If I'm the Ravens, you can get that division locked up. I don't think they will by week 18. I think it's going to come down to that. But hopefully, if you're the Ravens, you get that division locked up and you let Lamar rest another week because he did not look. Listen, I was watching him on Sunday against the Jets. If that's normal Lamar, he would have been running all over them, and they could not do anything. They could not do anything. With that run game, it was Henry, and that's why Henry, I think, is not running as effectively as because Lamar is not able. Because listen, if you have a dual threat quarterback, as much as Justin Fields sucks, and I admit it, he is terrible. But at least with him, if he was able to throw, it would be great. But that's besides the point. Him with the option of running with a running back, that throws you off. Now Lamar for the Ravens, he's not able to run. It takes it away. And yeah, Derrick Henry's a great player, but he's not going to be as effective because defenses don't have to. Oh, Lamar is not going to do much. We don't have to worry about him. Let's just focus on Henry. And I think that Lamar is not healthy. He had a toe injury this week, ankle injury the week before that, and I think a shin injury the week before that. So he's dealing with ailments, and he was already hurt before that with the hamstring. So it's kind of trickling down the leg and hurting him all different ways. But I think the Ravens, yeah, they can be on upset alert this week. I will get to the picks in a little bit, but they are definitely on upset alert this week. I think with Joe Burrow being back, it gives the Bengals a shot in the arm. He always plays well in division games. If the Bengals want any shot at the playoffs, which I don't think they do, but they have to win out, literally have to win out, or else they're not going to have a winning record. But yeah, I could see that. Jamar Chase off suspension after doing what he did. T. Higgins isn't available. Hendrickson isn't available. So they're going to have to go out there and score a ton of points, which they have to anyway. They almost beat the Patriots on Sunday, and I think that the Patriots are better than the Ravens, obviously. I know record-wise they are, but I think they are anyway. But, yeah, I could see the Ravens being on an upset alert this week. I think they're going to win, though, just because I don't know if they're going to be able to go out there and the Bengals are going to do enough. I don't think they're going to be able to do enough, but they are on upset alert. I'll tell you that. I would not be shocked to see Joe Burrow go in Baltimore Thanksgiving night and get a win. And hopefully he does. I want to see that. I'm a big Joe Burrow guy. And I got him back on my fantasy team now, which he's been stashed on my IR for the last 2 or 3 months. So hopefully he can do something for me. Some other NFL news we got here. Brandon Cooks brought in by the Bills. So I know it's not a blockbuster move, but still he's going to go to Buffalo after being released by the Saints. And if anybody can get out of New Orleans, go and do it, especially if you're a veteran. And Cooks did just that. They also brought in the Saints, I should say, brought in Cade York. So Cade York is going to go and be the kicker for the Saints after Blake Grupe had a rough time at it. And actually, they tried out Cade York and Justin Tucker. So those two guys battle out, and Cade York actually got the nod there, which is pretty cool. And then let's do around the league here from week 12, and then I'll tell you about a team that impressed me, and then some other things, and then we'll get to week 13. Let's go to Thursday night. Houston Texans beat the Bills. Put Josh Allen in a blender. This is something that I don't know if people realize this, but any of the 49er defensive, like Saleh, DeMeco Ryans, that tree of defensive coaches, he struggles tremendously. Josh Allen does against those defenses. He lost to the Texans last year. When Saleh was there with the Jets, he beat the Jets usually once a year, but did not look great. And Josh Allen, listen, that offense relies on him way too much. Yeah, he's a great quarterback. We all know that. But they rely on him way too much to get everything done. And his wide receiver room, not great. Keon Coleman was supposed to be a stud, and he, the character issues is immature. You're in the pros, man. You got to figure it out. Like, you should not be getting disciplined for 2 games because you can't show up to things. What else are you doing? Come on, man. You have a job. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You got to be able to figure that out. But yeah, that's going to hurt them for a little bit. That's probably why they brought in another receiver, Brandon Cooks. They got Gabe Davis, Mecole Hardman went down. They've brought in a lot of receivers the last couple of weeks because they can't they can't deal with that. If you're going to act like a child, you're not going to play. They don't care if it hurts the team. It's principle at that point. You got to be able to respect not just the team. You got to respect your teammates. That's the big thing. They're all waking up early in the morning to go to do their thing, and you're not showing up. That's just slapping their face, especially for the veterans that have been there. So I don't know what his issue is, but he's got to figure that out. And Buffalo needs him. They're not a lock for the playoffs by any stretch, and they're 7-4 now. So we'll get to the standings later on, but they're 7-4. They have no room for error. Then we got the Bears beating the Steelers 31-28. So the Bears continue the formula of scoring a ton of points, getting turnovers, and winning close games. They look good. They're 8-3 in first place right now. Still a little skeptical of them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat the big boys of the league. We'll see what happens. But Steelers, they're in a. I know we're talking about Tomlin here. I listen. I get it. I get you guys being frustrated about it just because you haven't won a playoff game in 10 years. But coming from a Jets fan who hasn't seen the playoffs since I was 6 years old, I would pay for my team to have a winning season and make the playoffs just to lose. I would live for that. So, yeah, I get the frustration just because you guys are kind of in the same recurring loop. But if you're a team that is Tomlin will be snatched up immediately, and I'm sure the team he goes to would make the postseason. Listen, I think he would be a good coach for the Giants. I don't know if they want to go in that direction. I think he would be good for them. There's going to be other openings that come about. Buffalo, you never know with them. If they let go of McDermott, Tomlin should be sprinting to Buffalo. That would be a really good combination with Tomlin and Josh Allen. He's I don't know if Pittsburgh, you may want him gone, but when he's gone, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get something that is at that level. And I think that they're for them. I think they just need to change the philosophy on offense. I think that just too vanilla. I think they just need to do be more modern. Be more modern. And I think they're lacking in weapons. You could see it. They have DK Metcalf. Yeah, he's good. But they have no one else really. No one else to really, that you throw the ball to, and you're like, this guy's going to go make a game-winning play. They don't have that. I know we're going to talk about the Cowboys a little bit, but I think they wish they had George Pickens right now. I know his issues with the Steelers, they didn't really want him anymore because he was always a crybaby. But look at him in Dallas right now, and he's setting himself up. He is setting himself up to be the highest-paid receiver in the league. He may not be the best receiver in the league, but he is setting himself up for it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Steelers. But right now, they lost first place out of the postseason. But the season is still they have games. They have a chance. They play Buffalo this week. Rodgers, I don't know if he's going to be back or not. Probably will be. They need to win that game. They really do. And they've looked good at home this year for the most part. The road has been the issue for Pittsburgh. I think they've been really good. I know they did lose to Seattle early in the year at home, but I think they're going to be fine. Could definitely see them beating Buffalo. Then the Patriots beat the Bengals 26-20. Game started out really weird for the Patriots, but they were able to come away with that and make a nice stop at the end. It's the Mike Vrabel effect. He comes in there, he's able to win games, not lose you games. That's the difference between a bad coach and a good coach. They don't lose you games. They go out there and find a way to win a football game for you. And Mike Vrabel continues to do it. The Patriots haven't lost since week 3. I think a 9-game winning streak right now. I know Pats fans in the chat. He'll be able to tell me it's a 9-game winning streak, right? You got the Lions beating the Giants 34-27 in overtime. Listen, Jameis Winston plays football. You got to be locked in and watching him. He is very, very entertaining. I love watching Jameis Winston play. And Giants lose yet another one, and they fired their DC Shane Bowen because of that. Giants, listen, they have 2 wins. They should have probably 4 or 5 more. I don't think they're as bad as their record is. I think their defense is too much talent to suck. I don't know why their defense has not been good. Too many pass rushers. Abdul Carter needs to be developed. So if they can bring in a nice defensive coach, I don't know if it's going to be a defensive-minded head coach or a really good DC. They need a coach to get into the ear of Abdul Carter and really take care of him, put him under their wing, and develop him. Packers beat the Vikings 23-6. JJ McCarthy. Watching him looks like Zach Wilson all over again. I feel for Vikings fan just because they were 14-3 last year or 15-2, whatever it was, with Sam Darnold. And now he's gone. That's tough to see with the way their offense is looking right now. I mean, JJ McCarthy, tough watch, really tough watch. And the Packers, their defense is great. So you give them a little bit of bait, they're gonna take it, and they're gonna do what they did to JJ McCarthy on Sunday. Seahawks beat the Titans. Yep, there we go. 9-game winning streak. Patriots. I'm sorry, not the Patriots. I lost my train of thought there. Seahawks beat the Titans 30-24. This is a blowout pretty much until the Titans scored a few at the end to make it close. But Seahawks once again get it back in the winning column, and they've looked really good. They're a game out of first place, and they lost to the Rams. That's the only reason why. They almost, like I said, they almost won that game. They have a really good team. They almost won that game with Darnold playing atrocious. They almost still came up with the win. Chiefs are not dead yet. They won 23-20 in overtime against the Colts. Listen, you look at the AFC. I think the top 3 teams, they're very good: Patriots, Broncos, Colts. But if the Chiefs make the postseason, would not be shocked that they beat them. If they're not be shocked to beat those teams. I know the Chiefs lost to Denver already. I think they play them again. I think the Chiefs will beat them. And even if they don't, even in the postseason, I still think the Chiefs. You can't doubt them. You really can't. They just pull off magical things, and they beat the Colts 23-20. Ravens beat the Jets, like I said before, 23-10. Ravens did not look good. Jets, they were up 7-0, whatever. Not much to talk about in that game. Browns won 24-10. Big Shador fan. Great to see him get out there, get a start, and win a game. They got another start coming up this week against a little bit of a tougher defense in the 49ers. But Shador does not lack in confidence, and I love it, man. He shows, like, listen, he knows he belongs there, and he wants to show it. I should say that. And he's got that swagger to him that I think that I don't know if the Browns like it, but even if the Browns don't want him, there may be a team that, we want someone like that that's going to be confident and think they can do anything. And I like that from Shador. He looked good. Yeah, he had a pick or whatever. It was a really ugly pick, but he also made some really nice throws. Looked calm, and they got the win. That's all that matters. They got it. They had 2 wins before this week, and they got one with Shador. Then we got Jacksonville beating the Cardinals 27-20. This is a masterclass of just horrific coaching. It was head scratcher after head scratcher in that game. Jacksonville, I'm going to selfishly root for them to not make the postseason. I just don't want to see Jacksonville in the postseason. They're just not a fun team to watch. They're there. They're 7-4, but there's nothing fun to watch with them. Cowboys beat the Eagles 24-21. Really good game. The Eagles were up 21-0. Dallas storms back. Dallas played them well in week 1, so that's why I'm not really shocked that Dallas got the win. Dak Prescott has been great, and when you got wide receivers like George Pickens, I know CeeDee Lamb, then he had a good game, but he also left a lot of catches on the table. But I think Dak and those 2 guys, they're going to be tough down the stretch. I think they can make a little bit of a run, especially with the defense improving the last couple of weeks. Bring in Quinnen Williams, bring in Logan Wilson. You get guys off injured reserve. That's why the defense looks better. They got guys there that actually know how to play defense, and they actually know how to tackle. The defensive line looks good. So right now, Dallas 2 in a row. They got Chiefs on Thanksgiving, which we'll pick that game as well later on. So I think they're going to be okay. Then we got the Falcons beating the Saints 24-10 is another game I think anyone cares about. Kirk Cousins got the win, but the Saints, they are so bad. Only thing to note there was Kamara got hurt in that one. Then we got the Rams. I think the Rams right now Super Bowl favorite. They won 34-7 over the Bucks. they are just they can't be stopped. And their defense is really good too. That's the thing. Stafford should be MVP. 30 touchdowns, 2 picks right now, throwing up to Devontae every single time in the red zone. Puka doing his thing. I think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. And the Eagles, yeah, of course, they're in the way. The Eagles are always gonna be in the way. But I think the Rams, if they had home field, if they can get home field, which right now they do, they can beat Philly. I think they can. They almost beat them this year, when they played them in Philly. Now, if the Rams are home, I think they can do it. And the Rams have the formula, man. They have a great head coach, a great quarterback, and a really good defense. That's all you can ask for. And then last night, 49ers won 20-9. So 49ers are 8-4. I think they're a quiet 8-4 right now. I don't really think anybody's talking about them or think they're going to do much just because of the injuries they have. But Brock Purdy, second game back, I think he's going to get his feet under him a little bit. They got the weapons. Defense has been really good despite not having anybody they really had from week one. They just every week they just lose guys after guy after guy. But yeah, I think they're going to be okay. And they're 8-4. They're in the playoffs right now. And they have a really good, favorable schedule coming up. I think the 49ers are going to make it. And if you're a team, that struggles a little bit on offense and you have to play San Francisco in the postseason, I would be a little worried about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's a little bit worrisome for them. And then the team who impressed me in week 12. So I'm going to go with Houston just because they're 3-0 with Davis Mills. So you probably thought the season was over when CJ Stroud was down for a little bit. He should be back this week, but Davis Mills steps in there, does just enough. But the thing that really impressed me about Houston, their defense is no joke. If you don't want them in the postseason because that defense is going to really, really get after you. And Josh Allen was beat up the entire game, but they haven't only done it to Josh Allen. They've done it the whole year. 6-5 record right now. They play the Colts, I think, this week, which we'll get through the schedule. They got a chance at making the postseason, and I would not put the Colts in as a lock to win the division. I'll tell you that. So let's do the schedule for this week. Got Packers at Lions Thursday afternoon. Of course, this week is, like I said, Thanksgiving, so a triple header. Chiefs versus Cowboys, Bengals versus Ravens. Chiefs versus Cowboys will be the middle game, and then the nightcap will be Bengals Ravens. Black Friday, that's become a tradition now. I think third year in a row. Bears will take on the Eagles. Then we got Sunday. We got the 49ers taking on the Browns. Jaguars taking on the Titans. Texans taking on the Colts, which is a big game now. Saints taking on the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are 4-7, but they have a schedule where they actually have a chance of getting back to 500. Falcons taking on the Jets. I'll be there for that one. Cardinals taking on the Bucks. We got the Rams taking on the Panthers. Vikings taking on the Seahawks. So J.J. McCarthy may be out, and even if he isn't, it's going to be a rough game for Minnesota. Then we got, I don't know, also for the Bucks, go back to the Cardinals-Bucks game. I don't know if Baker's going to be available. We have to keep an eye on that. And I think if he's not available, Teddy Bridgewater looked, I feel bad. He looked atrocious. Looked like he wanted no part of that. And I do not think he'll get even. I know the Cardinals are bad, but I don't think Teddy Bridgewater will be able to beat them. Bills versus Steelers. We got the Raiders versus Chargers and the Broncos versus Commanders. So I really wish they flexed out that Sunday night game. JD Daniels, I don't even think he's going to play, and the Commanders stink this year. So I really wish they did flex that one out. But unfortunately, they did not. And then we got Monday Night Giants taking on the Patriots. I don't know if Jackson Dart should be, in the game. If he's out for 3 weeks because of concussion, that's not good. That you got problems going on if that's the case. But kind of want to see Jackson Dart up against a really good team. I think that if he plays, I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think the Giants are going to keep themselves. They've been in every game. They've really been in every game, maybe except for 1 or 2 this year. I think they will be in it, and I think the Patriots will win that game. Then they got a little bye week coming up for them. But yeah, I think they're going to win that one. Then the team to watch in week 13. Let's talk about the Bears. So I think they're a team to watch because they're 8-3. For me personally, I'm not sold on them just yet. Yeah, their offense looks really good, but I didn't want to see them beat the big boys. Like I was saying, I don't know if I know they started out 0-2. They're 8-1 since then, but I want to see them go out there, beat the Eagles on Black Friday. I want to see that. Show the national audience you're there. You're actually really for real. And if they do that, then they have my my blessing. And then like I like what I see, but I do like what I see now. I'm not saying that. I just think they need to watch. You need to watch them this week and see if they can beat the big boys up there. See what they got. Fantasy guy to pick up, I should say, this week. So Kamara is out. Devin Neal, I would pick him up, running back for the Saints. Probably not a familiar name for many, but Kamara is out, like I said, and the Saints don't have any weapons at all. They have Olave, and that's about it. If you can get Neal, who's going to get a ton of touches because he's really the only guy in the room that probably will in the running back room that will do anything. Yeah, definitely get your hands on him if possible. And let's do the NFL standings. Then we'll do some college football. I'll give my top 5 Thanksgiving foods. I'll do a pick 'em, and then we'll close it out. Let's go to, you know what? We're going to do the conference standings as well after. Let's do the AFC East. Patriots at 10-2 leading the way. Bills at 7-4 in second place. Dolphins 4-7, and the Jets at 2-9. AFC North, Ravens now in first place. A little bit of a change. Steelers at 6-5. Bengals 3-8, and the Browns at 3-8. So that division is not great. Ravens probably going to win it at this point just because the Steelers don't look like they're going to be able to even keep up with them, but we'll see. Colts at 8-3, Jacksonville 7-4, Texans 6-5. So that division's getting a little closer. Both Jags and Texans playing good ball lately, and then the Titans are just complete mess. Like I said, they're 1-10 in last place. AFC West, Broncos 9-2, Chargers 7-4, Chiefs 6-5, and the Raiders 2-9. The Raiders are another one, hot garbage so far this year. Then the NFC East, we got the Eagles at 8-3, Cowboys 5-5-1. So the Eagles are still, of course, in command of that division. Got their problems though, I'll tell you that. They're one of the most what's the word I'm looking for? Dysfunctional teams I've ever seen, and they still find a way to win. Props to them. I don't know how they do it. Cowboys, like I said, Cowboys 5-5-1, Commanders 3-8, and the Giants first team to be eliminated at 2-10. Bears at 8-3, like I said before, they're leading the way though in the NFC North. Packers 7-3-1, Detroit 7-4. That's a big game on Thursday, and then the Vikings at 4-7. Then we got the Bucks hanging on in the NFC South, which is always not the greatest. They're 6-5. Panthers 6-6 after their loss last night. Falcons 4-7, and then the Saints at 2-9. Then the NFC West, Rams 9-2. I think, my opinion, best team in the league. Seahawks 8-3, up there as the second best team in the league. They'll be in the conversation for sure. 49ers 8-4, and then the Cardinals at 3-8. And then let's do the we'll break down the seeding. For now, Patriots at number 1 seed, Broncos number 2 seed, Colts number 3, Ravens at 4. Then we got the Chargers, Jags, and Bills all tied at 7-4. But the Chargers obviously have the tiebreaker over the Jags and the Bills. Then in the hunt, Houston at 6-5, Pittsburgh 6-5, and KC at 6-5. And if you wanted to throw in Miami as an outside shot, they're 4-7, so they're in the mix as well. Then the rest of the teams have 8 losses already. Then the NFC, we got the Rams leading the way, 9-2, Eagles 8-3, Bears 8-3, Bucks 6-5. Then we got Seattle, first wild card 8-3, Packers 7-3-1, 49ers 8-4. And I corrected myself from before. I said the Lions were in the playoffs. They're not in the playoffs. They're the 8th seed at 7-4. Then we got Carolina 6-6, Dallas 5-5-1. They're the 10 seed right now. And they got Atlanta Vikings. They're 4-7. They're kind of in it, if you want to say, but not really. But yeah. That'll do it for NFL talk. This is a big week. Everyone always says like last week of November, first week of December is the turning point of the NFL season. These next 2 weeks are huge, especially this week, and a lot of really, really good matchups, which can turn some things, especially with the divisional matchups and stuff like that coming up. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. Let's do the new rankings. So I'm not sure if they came out just yet. Let me see. And then we can do the other parts of it, or we could start with the other parts and then we can, work our way from there. But let's pull up the rankings here. I would expect a little bit of movement, but not much. But after this week, I expect some movement just because of who's playing each other. And then we got the conference championships coming up, which is going to be another really, really fun thing. Let's see what we got here for the top 25, the new top 25 or CFP rankings. We got Ohio State at number 1, Indiana number 2, Texas A&M number 3. We all expected that. Georgia number 4, Texas Tech number 5. Pretty much all the same. Oregon number 6, Ole Miss number 7, Oklahoma number 8, Notre Dame number 9, Alabama number 10, BYU number 11, Miami 12. But we also got, I'm trying to find, my apologies here. When it's certain, there's a delay. My apology. I might have just read the same one. Because there's a basketball game going on as we speak. All right, let's do actually it's out. I'm a mess right now. Let's pull it up. Oh, that was it. Okay, that was it. I read off the right ones. It just group of 5. Let's see who the group of 5 team is. Tulane's still the group of 5 team. So that's for now. I don't know if that's going to last like that, but that's for now. Miami's number 12, so they'll be in the playoff as the ACC representative. That's just for now. Like I said, there's going to be teams that play each other, teams that get knocked out. There's a lot of things that's going to happen that's going to throw it off, and I'm very excited for it. But we'll keep an eye on that in the future weeks. But other news we had for college, Julian Lewis. So he was a really highly touted commit last year for Colorado in prime. He played a little bit this year. I think he had 1 or 2 starts, but he's not going to play this week at all, so he preserves his red shirt. Really young. I don't even think he was 18 that he was playing this year just because he enrolled early. So I think that's going to be good for prime. So this could be his quarterback. He believes it is. That's why he went out there and recruited him. We got him to flip school. I forget what he was committed to before that. He really believes in him. So I think that having him as a red shirt now this year basically doesn't count. Throw it, flush it, and then we still have you for 3 years. I think that's big. Let's do the Week 13 recap here. So, of course, like the rankings reflected it. The big guns, they all won. Oklahoma won a tough game with Missouri. That game was early on Saturday. Oklahoma can win. Listen, I'm not saying they're a championship winning team, but they have a lot of different ways they can win. Defense first, obviously, but they can go out there, they can score a little bit. If John Mateer is right, he can throw, but he hasn't been right. You can tell since coming back from the surgery, but maybe with time he'll be better, especially if they can make the CFP. That's a nice little 3-week break that he can definitely use because they're not, maybe even a month because they won't be in the SEC championship because they have 2 conference losses. So that's a month for John Mateer, recover the hand wrist situation. That can be good for them. I wouldn't count out Oklahoma. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I don't think they're going to win the championship, but I would not count them out. Pitt took down Georgia Tech. So after they got bodied against Notre Dame last week, they went out there, beat a ranked team in Georgia Tech at the time. Wisconsin upset Illinois, but Wisconsin, their defense is always really good. So I'm not shocked by it. Belichick clinches a losing season. Nothing else really went on. If Biggie was here, he would break down those little lower end games I don't care about, and probably most of the fans don't care about, but he loves it. And I give him credit for it. So he really gets in deep on the college games. Then Week 14 preview. Let's break it down here. This is a big week. Last week of the regular season for everyone. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. That'll be Friday. So we got games Friday. So listen, you got the Bears and Eagles at 3:00 on Friday, but you got Ole Miss and Mississippi State at 12. You watch that, let it lead you in to hockey as well on Friday. A lot of things going on Friday. If you're not going out shopping, which I don't know if anyone really does the Black Friday shopping anymore because everyone can order online. But if you are shopping, throw it on your phone or something, put the headphones in. You can listen, watch it as you're going. Georgia versus Georgia Tech on Friday. That's at 3:30, so that's kind of going on at the same time. If you're more of a college fan, you'll watch that. If you're an NFL guy, you're going to watch the NFL. Texas A&M versus Texas. That's the Friday night game. Saturday, we got Ohio State versus Michigan. Ohio State's lost their last 2 against them, so they got to win that. And if they want to keep that 1 seed, got to win that one before you have the Big Ten championship next week. But if they lose, that does open up a lot of different scenarios in the Big Ten because Michigan is there, Oregon is there, and Indiana, of course, is there as well. Miami versus Pitt, that's big for the ACC because the ACC has a ton of scenarios. They have no clue. Right now, they have no clue who's going to be in their championship game, which is next week because they have so many different teams that have a shot at making that. And Miami, if they win or Pitt wins, like they play each other, that can change some different change all the scenarios up. Some other games, Vandy versus Tennessee, they're not really in contention for anything, but it is, a game to keep note of. Oklahoma looking to just, clinch that playoff spot. Oregon versus Washington, same thing. Oregon looking to clinch that playoff spot. There's some different games out there. Alabama versus Auburn. I know Auburn's not the greatest, but they still always give Alabama a little bit of a run for their money. If Alabama loses that game, they're going to be out of the playoff. And then, like I said before, Notre Dame versus Stanford at 10:30. We gotta stay up late for that one. That'll probably be over at like 2 in the morning or something like that at this point. So we'll stay ready for that. And then let's do my top 5 Thanksgiving foods, and then we'll do a pick 'em after that. So my top 5 Thanksgiving foods. So number 1, mashed potatoes. Can't go wrong with them if they're made correctly, which they are. Every time I eat them, they're the greatest. So much flavor, fluff. Oh, you don't even get me started. I can't wait for Thursday. That's going to be so fun to eat that. Number 2, I'm going to throw that in there, of course, the turkey. That includes the gravy. You got to put the gravy, you got to mix it around a little bit, but turkey, always good. I'm a huge Thanksgiving meal guy. You don't eat it all the time, so that's why you don't get sick of it. And it's good. It really is good. Candy yams, number 3. with the yams, with the marshmallow on top. Oh, they're so great. You mix that in, like I said, the plate has to be heavy where you're almost going to drop it with the mashed potatoes, the turkey, the candy yams. Number 4, apple pie. So that's the first dessert and the only dessert that is on my list. Apple pie, underrated. For me, I'm allergic to apples, so I eat it anyway, but I suffer a little bit. But apple pie, really good. Can't go wrong with it, especially if it's, nice and cooked the way it's supposed to be. And then I have number 5, stuffing. I'm not a huge stuffing guy compared to, the cranberry sauce, whatever you want to call that. Don't like that at all. So I'm going to go with stuffing at number 5. So we got number 1, mashed potatoes, number 2, turkey, number 3, candy yams, number 4, apple pie, and then you got the stuffing at number 5. So great list. Can't wait for Thursday. And let's round out the episode here with our pick'em. So we got the 3 Thanksgiving games. I'm 14-11. Biggie is 11-14. We only have one different pick, so he can gain a game on me or I can gain a game on him. It's not really going to change that much. But so for Thursday afternoon, Packers versus Lions, that's the difference. I'm going to go with the Packers, and he's going to go with the Lions. I know it's very hard to beat a divisional opponent twice in 1 year. The Packers already beat Detroit. Biggie thinks that that's probably part of his logic, if I had to guess, the Detroit. And Detroit's very good at home. But Detroit will get the win for Biggie. And I think the Packers are going to get the win just because that defense is stifling. And I just don't think the Lions are as good as they have been the last couple of years. I think something's lacking with them. Maybe Ben Johnson. I think him being gone is a little bit of throws them off a little bit. But I think him not being there and they just don't look as crisp on offense. And I think their defense, is always banged up. They always have injuries. So I think the Packers are going to get it done. And that defense, man, like I said, Green Bay, they're no joke. Then we got the Chiefs versus Cowboys. I was so close to picking the Cowboys, but you can't pick against the Chiefs when they have games. When the season's on the line for them, like it was Sunday, they won. Same thing, season on the line there. They're still not in the playoffs, and they're out of those 6 and 5 teams I mentioned, they're the lowest because the tiebreakers. They need another win. They need to go out there and win again, so I think they're going to beat them. Biggie agrees. Biggie's going to go with the Chiefs as well. Then we get the Bengals versus Ravens to round out the night. I know we talked about a potential upset from Cincinnati. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be close. Potential, like I said, potential is the key word there. Ravens will win. Biggie agrees. So Ravens have not looked great, but I think once again they're playing the team they're better than, just overall talent-wise better than. Well, they'll do just enough to get the win. But yeah, I'm going to go Packers, Chiefs, and Ravens. Biggie's going to go Lions, Chiefs, and Ravens. So we got the difference in the first game of the day. Very close, like I said, but I'm not going to go against the Chiefs. They're the defending champs. Not defending champs. They have been a championship team, and they were in the Super Bowl last year. But yeah, you can't go against them, especially with the season on the line. But that'll do it for episode 81. I want to thank everyone for joining. We had a lot of action, probably the most action we ever had in the comment section. If I didn't get to all you guys, I'm sorry. Doing it by myself is kind of tough. I don't really keep an eye on both, but when I had Biggie here, it's a little easier to juggle all the comments and stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll put up the reels during the week. Thursday will be my top 5. I'll put that if anyone missed that. That'll be on there. The picks will be on there as well. We get a little standing board update as well. Also next week, next Wednesday, of course, we'll have the show Tuesday, regular show like this. But next Wednesday, we'll do Knicks versus Hornets live stream. Starts at 7:30. We'll probably come on a little before that. We'll probably start at 7:15, but whatever. If anyone's interested in joining that, just text me if you have my number. Reach out on Instagram, TikTok if anyone wants to come on there. It'll be a fun time once again. I know we did it opening night. Haven't been able to do it again, so that's why I want to come on and do that. Hopefully the Knicks win a couple of more games along the way before that. But like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. We're doing well. Like I said, comment section was firing off tonight. We had Biggie getting so frustrated that he had actually come on the show and he wasn't supposed to, just to defend himself here tonight. And that's what we want. We want some good content, and that was definitely that. I'll tell you that. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming on. I'll see you guys next week, and reels will be out, like I said. See you, everybody.